Okay, so what if an ancient fable, a Greek philosophy, and a super modern therapy were all telling the exact same story? Sounds kind of wild, right? Well, it's a story about a farmer. And believe it or not, it holds this incredible secret for how we can deal with all the craziness in our own lives. So let's get into it. So it all starts with this simple sounding tale from way back in 2nd century BC China. And yeah, on the surface, it's just a story. But buried inside is this powerful idea about something we talk about all the time now: psychological resilience. The real question is, what on earth can some ancient farmer teach us? All right, first up, let's meet our guy. He's a farmer living way up on the northern border of China, a place where, anything could happen. But it's not the unpredictable life that's the point. It's how he reacts to it. And that's what makes this story stick around for thousands of years. Okay, so picture this. One day, his only horse just runs away. Total disaster, right? His neighbors all rush over, saying, "Oh, what terrible luck." But then, a week later, the horse comes back. And it's not alone. It brings a whole herd of wild horses with it. Suddenly, he's rich. The neighbors are back. Wow, what amazing fortune. But it doesn't stop there. His son, trying to tame one of these new horses, gets thrown off and breaks his leg. A horrible tragedy. Then, just after that, the army shows up, grabbing every single able-bodied young man for a brutal war. But the son, because of his broken leg, he gets to stay home. And here's the kicker. Through all of this chaos, this roller coaster of events, the farmer's response is always the same. When he loses the horse, he just says, maybe. When he gets a whole herd of them, maybe. His son's injury, his son's salvation from war, to all of it, he just shrugs and says, good luck, bad luck, who knows? He completely refuses to slap a final label on any single event. Now, this is way more than just some old folktale. The farmer's super chill perspective is actually a perfect example of two huge philosophies that popped up thousands of miles apart: Taoism in the East and Stoicism in the West. So, in Taoism, you have this core idea of the Tao, which you can think of as the way. It's like the natural current of the universe, the way things just flow. And the goal isn't to fight that current, swimming upstream and exhausting yourself. It's to practice something called wu wei, which basically means effortless action. It's all about getting in sync with that flow, not struggling against it. Okay, now let's jump across the globe to ancient Greece. The Stoics were cooking up an idea that is shockingly similar. They believed we should live in harmony with nature, which they saw as this big, rational, ordered system. And for them, the key was to focus on being a good person, practicing virtue, and, this is the big one, really understanding the difference between what you can control and what you can't. And check this out. When you put these two side by side, the parallels are just, wow. Taoism wants you to find harmony with the Tao, the way. Stoicism wants you to align with reason, or what they called the logos, the logical force that runs the universe. See the connection? Both paths, from opposite ends of the world, are all about accepting what's outside of your control, and they both lead to the exact same place: inner peace. I mean, listen to this from the Tao Te Ching, the foundational book of Taoism. It says, misery is what happiness rests upon. Happiness is what misery lurks beneath. Who knows where it ends? That is literally the farmer's story in a nutshell. This idea that good and bad are just tangled up together, constantly changing. And then you have the great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius saying this: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. It's the exact same principle. The real power isn't about bending the world to your will, it's about mastering the world inside your own head. I mean, come on. Two completely separate traditions, one incredible, world-changing insight. Okay, this is where things get really interesting, because this isn't just dusty old philosophy anymore. Here in the 21st century, modern psychology and even neuroscience are actually proving that the farmers, the Taoists, and the Stoics were onto something huge. So what modern psychology calls resilience is basically just this ancient mindset. It's all about focusing your energy on what you can actually influence, not on the stuff that's way beyond your control. That is pure 100% Stoicism. It's the farmer's whole worldview. It's not about avoiding getting knocked down, it's about how you choose to get back up. And this leads us straight to the heart of one of today's most effective therapies: cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT teaches us a really simple but powerful truth. It's not the event that causes our feelings, it's the thought. the story we tell ourselves about the event that actually creates our emotional reaction.
And this is the farmer's secret weapon. He is a master of that second step. See, when the horse runs away, his neighbors immediately jump to the interpretation, "this is awful," and that leads straight to the emotion, despair. But the farmer? He hits the pause button. He short-circuits that whole process. He just observes the event without piling a judgment on top of it.
In fact, this link is so powerful that researchers have actually created a new kind of therapy based on it. It's called Taoist cognitive therapy, or TCT. And it does exactly what it sounds like. It takes these ancient Taoist principles and builds them right into a modern therapeutic framework. How cool is that?
So how does this new approach stack up against regular old CBT? Well, let's take a look. Traditional CBT, you'll see, is really built on that Stoic foundation of logic and reason. The goal is to find and fix your distorted thoughts. But TCT, on the other hand, it's all Taoist philosophy. It's about getting in sync with the natural flow of things. And you can see it in the values, right? CBT is all about rationality, taking action. TCT values things like humility, patience, and being flexible. It even uses stories and proverbs as a key technique, just like the one we started with.
So the big question is, does it actually work? Well, a pilot study on TCT for people with generalized anxiety disorder showed some pretty incredible results. Look at this. Before treatment, the anxiety scores were high, way up in the clinical range. But after treatment, they dropped way down into the normal range. I mean, that's science right there, backing up a 2,000-year-old way of thinking.
So we've journeyed from an ancient farmer to these profound philosophies and now to modern science. Okay, let's bring it all back home. How can we actually use this powerful idea to build our own resilience?
Now, first things first, let's get one thing straight. This is not about being a doormat. It's not about being passive or just giving up. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about building what's called psychological flexibility. And that is an active strength. It's the power to respond with thoughtful reflection, instead of just a knee-jerk emotional reflex.
So how do we actually do this? How can we think more like the farmer? Well, here's a simple toolkit you can start using today. First, just pause. Before you rush to label something as good or bad, just take a breath. Second, ask yourself that all-important Stoic question, what part of this can I actually control? And spoiler alert, it's almost always just your own response. So focus your precious energy there, not on the event itself. And finally, try to embrace uncertainty. See it not as a threat, but just as a natural part of being alive, just like the farmer did. And that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? The next time something totally unexpected happens, and it will, how are you going to respond? Are you going to be like the neighbors with that instant black and white judgment, or are you going to try to be more like the farmer? I want to leave you with this one last thought from the Hunanzi, which is the original ancient text where this whole story comes from. It says, "Bad luck brings good luck, and good luck brings bad luck. This happens without end, and nobody can estimate it." And that's it, right there. Life is this dynamic, unpredictable, unfolding process. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest freedom we have is finally accepting that we don't have to have it all figured out.